More on the missing students and other events in Mexico. I'm joined by Laura Carlsen from the Center for International Policy. She's the director of their Americas program, also a political analyst for Americas Now. Laura, welcome to the show. You know, these bodies keep turning up. What happens if it turns out that they're connected to the missing students?
Well, there's a lot of suspicion already that they are indeed connected to the students because it was one of the people who was detained in the crime who led police to these bodies. If it turns out that these students have been executed by a combination of municipal police force and the local drug gang, then we'll be facing a very, very serious situation here in Mexico. In fact, people are already calling it one of the worst institutional crises in the last decades here in Mexico.
Well, that being said, Laura, how would justice be dealt in this case? Is it so serious that the Mexican government would have to get involved?
Oh, yes, all levels of government are already involved because there have been accusations, of course, against the municipal government. It's quite clear that the mayor himself was allied with the drug gang. He's currently on the run, and there's an arrest order out for him. And then it goes on up. There's a call for the resignation of the state governor of Guerrero, and there's also calls for an investigation and some serious soul searching at the very least on the part of the federal government as well. So as these investigations go on, they are tainting all levels of government and raising serious questions about what's happening in terms of this collusion, especially between government and drug trafficking gangs throughout the country.
Laura, I want to turn to the drug war. You know, authorities announced the recent arrest of Vicente Carrillo Fuentes, the alleged leader of the Juarez drug cartel. We're seeing more and more of these high-profile arrests. Is Mexico making progress on this front?
Well, this is a very important question because the mere fact of an arrest of a drug lord is not necessarily progress. And this is what many people have been saying, myself included, for many years now. This arrest comes on the heels of the arrest of Héctor Beltrán Leiva, and there's no question whatsoever that both of these figures are very important and leading figures in the underground drug world. And in fact, Vicente Carrillo Fuentes, who is arrested now, is known to be one of the most brutal figures and was responsible in large part for this peak, a really explosion of violence in Ciudad Juarez and in Chihuahua several years ago. So in that sense, there's progress. These people should be behind bars. But in another sense, and we see this from the massacre that happened in Guerrero, what's happening is that when you do take down these drug lords, you get these splinter groups, oftentimes the splinter groups like Guerreros Unidos, responsible for the Iguala massacre in part, are more violent and more out of control than the original ones. So there's this game going on. It's difficult to understand. There's some kind of method to the madness, although we can't forget that it's madness, what's happening with the drug war here in Mexico, in the sense that there's also accusations that they're taking out figures that pose opposition to the largest cartel, which is the Sinaloa cartel. And this has been going on for some time, that there's a feeling that government forces are favoring a consolidation among the different cartels.
Laura, we have about 30 seconds left. So is this just a PR campaign for Peña Nieto's government, showcasing these high-profile gets?
No, they really have been arrested, and it really is important, but they're also timing this to come out as a distraction because we have not just this massacre, but the massacre in late June of students at the hands of the army, and it's looking bad for his administration.
All right, Laura Carlsen, thank you so much for joining us from Mexico City.